Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Here to go over a lot of Steam news and updates. A couple of games have been pulled from Steam forever. Always a unfortunate note when that happens. A couple of them were classic titles in terms of they had re-releases, so we'll talk about that. And on top of that, Nightingale has been one of the more popular releases on Steam. These survival games have all been popping off. I shouldn't say they've all been popping off. That is totally unfair, but it seems like there's always like a major survival game coming out every couple of weeks. So we'll talk about that. A big update for that game is coming, as there's some issues with that game, to say the least. So we'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, WWE 2K22 has been pulled from Steam forever as the servers are shutting down. Note, all multiplayer servers for WWE 2K22 shut down as of December 31st of 2023. After that time, all game functions requiring online servers will no longer function. That's kind of wild, given that this game came out in March of 2022. A game having a 2-year window to have server opens. I get it, it's a sports title, and sports games get yearly releases and so on and so forth. They're getting prepared for 2K24. But to pull it from Steam, and I can even understand somewhat that, the multiplayer servers shut down, those are expensive to maintain. But, first of all, again, only 2 years, and on top of that, the game is pulled from Steam forever. It could be something to do with licensed songs. Like, there's literal licensed music in this game, like, a Body Bag by, I believe it's MGK is in this game, and that's a really good song. But nonetheless, it's getting pulled. 2K22 actually revitalized the WWE, game series. If you guys don't know, 2K20 was a legitimate abomination, one one of the worst games I think that has ever been released. No hyperbole, legitimately one of the worst games ever released. They took a year off. They kind of took a year off. They didn't release a game in 2021, and then they adjusted the release cycle of the WWE title, so now it comes out around the early portion of the year, which kind of makes sense because it ties into, WrestleMania right around the corner, so I think that makes a lot of sense, but 2K22 really did revitalize the series, and 2K23 was really good. Hopefully 2K24 is solid as well. But yeah, this is kind of unacceptable when you're talking about a 2-year window for servers to stay up. But what can you do? 2K gonna 2K. And not only that, as far as games getting pulled from Steam, the Devil May Cry titles have been pulled from Steam by Capcom as well. Not all of them. A couple of older Devil May Cry titles. That was very bad wording by me, but Devil May Cry 3, the original release version, and Devil May Cry 4 have both been pulled. Now, they still exist in the sense that Devil May Cry 3 does, Devil May Cry has an HD collection that has the original 3 games, DMC 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 never had, standard PC releases on Steam, and then Devil May Cry 4 also has the special edition still available on Steam. So, a little bit different. They are getting preserved by these newer versions, but it's much like Assassin's Creed 3 when that was re-released as Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which was kind of BS, given that it also kind of hiked the price of the game up. The game would go on sale for $5 or $10, and now it does no longer go on sale for $5 or $10. It might now, but initially it came out, and then they appreciated the price point. You guys get what I'm saying? That was a game that most people got through the AC Odyssey Gold Edition, but nevertheless, it's kind of whack when stuff like that happens. Games in general getting pulled is very annoying. You should just try to preserve these games the best you can. I get it in the sense of licensed music is always an issue, and that's why, the best case would be to have agreements that allow the licensed song as long as the game is up or whatever. I get it that might be expensive, and I don't know how those agreements work, but once the licensing deals go up, you either have to renew those deals, and that can be a pretty penny, and, to renew those deals for, a game like WWE 2K22, which is only selling maybe a couple copies a day, if that, financially doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's just unfortunate. I remember when the original Alan Wake got pulled for a little bit because of licensing issues, and that's generally what you'll see. The majority of games that get pulled, either it's for a new version being released, like what happened with Assassin's Creed, or it's just for licensing issues, and licensing issues are a real thing. Transformers War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron are not available on Steam. 2 fantastic games, and they're just lost forever because of licensing issues. I hope someday things can get worked out and those those games can return onto Steam, because it is so unfortunate that those games aren't available. I would do anything to have War for Cybertron. No, not anything, but I would do a lot to have War for Cybertron in my library. I think I would probably pay $50 to get a copy of War for Cybertron in my Steam library. You have to pay way more than $50 if you want to get a Steam key for that. I think they go for like a couple $100, and I'm not paying that. Like, come on now, I'm not paying that to get War for Cybertron. Like, I liked War for Cybertron. I didn't like War for Cybertron that much, and I don't think I like any game that much to spend a couple $100 on it, so it is what it is. Moving on from that, a big issue with some of these games coming out recently is that developers have lower expectations as far as how many people are going to check out the game, and it seems like Nightingale has had that issue as well, as Nightingale currently is online only, but they're going to be adding an offline mode as soon as feasible, as devs say they misjudged player demand for it. Most notably, in a blog post, they noted this: "Our vision for the game since inception was to create an interconnected series of realms with the idea of allowing for cooperative exploration in mind, a universe bigger than a single realm or server. That meant we made a choice early in development between supporting co-op from day one or focusing development in an offline mode. Cooperative gameplay associated with having party members across multiple realms was the more technically challenging problem, and therefore the one we chose to tackle first. Looking back at that decision, we misjudged what some of you were looking for in your experience. We are now prioritizing and developing an offline mode that we plan to release as soon as feasible." So maybe it's not as much as, you know, the game is bigger than they expected, but I think most of these survival games, they should have a offline mode baked into it. I know with Pal World, a ton of people just played that game offline and they didn't even want to take it online. I much prefer, even with survival games, I get it, like a lot of you guys like to have these games online and playing with a ton of people. That's not my cup of tea. I hate going online. I hate getting raided and all that stuff. That is not my wheelhouse. And Nightingale is certainly a game that I want to play at some point. There's just so many games coming out. But also, it's a game that I want to play once an offline mode is available. It is priced pretty well, much like Pal World. 10% off introductory price discount, $27. Typical price will be $30. Obviously, that price will appreciate as they do go further into early access and add more content and things like that. That's generally what goes on as far as, you know, early access games. Currently, there's 31,000 people in game, which comparatively speaking to like a Pal World, an Enshrouded even, or a Helldivers 2, that doesn't seem like a high number, but 31,000 is still a super respectable number for a game from a new studio, still in early access, going to get a lot of updates. The game currently has 5,900 Steam user reviews, and 58% of those reviews are positives. So obviously, it's got a long way to go, but it's an early access game. That's to be expected, and there's been a lot of early access titles that started at mixed and ultimately worked their way into mostly positive or very positive. You look at No Man's Sky. That game wasn't in early access, but that game launched at a very different state than what it is now. Time can really improve a lot of these games, and when you release an early access game, and when you're buying an early access game, you're going into it with the mindset that, okay, there's gonna be some issues, and hopefully with Nightingale, things do get better and better, especially given that this is the debut title from Inflection Games, and it's a studio composed of developers from BioWare. And BioWare at this stage of the game is fairly washed, and hopefully, you know, people from BioWare can come together, make a new studio, and, you know, drop some bangers. And Nightingale can ultimately become one. It's just going to take some time for that. But that is going to do it for me. Again, WWE 2K22 has been pulled forever on Steam, as has the classic Devil May Cry 3, as well as DMC4. And Nightingale will be adding an offline component at some point soon, and hopefully that'll be happening in the very, very near future, because for a game like this, really could use it. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.